get that rig, aluminum ply? Oh, did they? Good deal.
Did I get you the things to sign?
Yeah, that worked out good.
Where'd they go?
What's that?
The signing
Yeah.
things. Gary got them?
I assume you put that together.
You got them, right?
Yeah.
To sign.
That was good, good
Okay.
deal.
Call to order the meeting of Monday, March 15th, 2021. If you would all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First on the order, the approval of the agenda. If I could get a motion for that, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 This could get a little disjointed here, but we'll carry on. On to the consent agenda. You have a copy of the minutes of the March 1st, 2021 meeting. You also have a copy of the bills and claims, and we have the following licenses and permits. Liquor license, Class C liquor license with outdoor service and Sunday sales, G. Joe's by the Lake, and that says it's new. Tree trimmers license, Hernandez Tree Removal, Affordable Arbor Tree Service Renewals. Excavators license, Mayor's Digging Company, a renewal. Street closing request. The Clear Lake Chamber of Commerce Earth Day 5K, 10K race, April 17th, and Earth Day Festival and Community Cleanup, April 24th. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, consent agenda passes. We're now at the citizens' opportunity to address the council on items not on the agenda. With the council's rules of procedure, no action can occur or on items presented during the citizens' forum. Please walk to the lecterns, state your name, spell last name, address, and subject of your discussion, and please hold your comments to 5 minutes or less. None appearing, we will move on to unfinished business. A, the ordinance amending elected officials' compensation, which would become effective on January 1st, 2022. Wow, sounds weird to say that. Anyway, this being the third reading, I believe. Yep, okay. So, this will be a motion to approve ordinance number 585, an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Clear Lake, Iowa, 2003 by amending mayor and council compensation. Final reading. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion, council? Okay, so I guess we need a roll call on this one, and I'm going to start to my right here with Dana.
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
and myself, yes. Motion passes 5-0. On to new business. Item A, fiscal year 21 amended and fiscal year 22 proposed municipal Budget, review of draft for the, what is it, about the 10th time? Mr. Flory.
Let's go ahead and fire up that PowerPoint again. No, I'm kidding. By popular demand, we'll cut that off at 3 times. So.
This would have to be the greatest hits version.
I do have to point out, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem Callahan missed it here, but whenever Mayor Crabb is here, I always point out when we have the excavator's license for mayor's digging that that's with an ER and not an OR. No one ever laughs but me at that, so, but I do it every time. I hope they stay in business so I can keep doing it. So. Fiscal year 21 amended, fiscal year 22 proposed budget. Again, the tax rate proposed for fiscal year 22 City of Clear Lake budget. Of course, that's the fiscal year that starts July 1, ends June 30th of 2022. Is proposed to remain the same tax rate, $9.70 per thousand of taxable valuation. So this is the 6th consecutive fiscal year that the tax rate has either remained the same or gone down. So if we go back historically and look at that, in fiscal year 17, the tax rate was decreased from $10.54 to $10.04. Then fiscal year 18, we lowered the tax rate from $10.04 to $9.80. And then in fiscal year 19, we lowered the rate from $9.80 to $9.70, which is where it's remained ever since. Again, the taxable valuations for fiscal year 22 are based on January 1, 2020 values. So their positive trends have continued. Again, this year, we're up 4.5% for fiscal year 21 from the previous fiscal year. So total fiscal year 22 taxable valuation is $728,071,665. So up just about $33.3 million in taxable valuation this year. And do point out that that again is despite the rollback on commercial and industrial property at 90%. We also have the multifamily residential rollback to contend with as well. And this year for the regular residential, that was increased. So fiscal year 21, the rate was 55.07, and for fiscal year 22, the state set that at 56.41. So just a little bit of an increase there. So again, total budget for fiscal year 22 is just under $15 million. So 9.7 of that is directed towards operations and maintenance. 4.5 million is directed towards capital, and about 700,000 is towards debt service. So we have a projected ending fund balance in the general fund of just under $5 million. I mentioned at the last meeting that that is a really outstanding level to have in reserve. That's about 62% of our general fund operating budget. In fact, I mentioned last time I was watching the budget presentation for City of Mason City, and that is an identical amount to what they have in their general fund reserve. So community is 3 times our size to have the same kind of general fund operating budget. Is pretty impressive for us for sure. So the city's constitutional debt limit for fiscal year 22 is $58.4 million. We've only used 4.8%, or about $2.8 million of our borrowing capacity. Again, that's, as I've mentioned frequently, that's one of the lowest levels, obviously, of debt, not only in the state or the Midwest, but I'd suggest in the country for sure. So typically, our auditor or financial advisor will advise that we should be in that 60 to 70% range. So to be at less than 5% is I mentioned this, I shared it with a friend of mine. Dane always asks about getting to a level of no debt, and clearly when you're at less than 5%, that is, no pun intended, but you're at no debt at that level. That's just almost entirely non-existent for a city to operate at that low level of debt. So again, the tax rate will be $9.70 per thousand of taxable valuation for fiscal year 22. Wanted to point out for fiscal year 21, that was the 5th lowest tax rate for cities in the state of Iowa with a population of 4,000 or more. So the schedule for the budget consideration left, as you recall from the previous meeting, we had set the date for the public hearing on the fiscal year 21 and amended fiscal year 22 proposed budget proposal for this evening. So notice was published in the Mirror Reporter on March 3rd, and so tonight is the date time advertised for the public hearing. for the fiscal year 21 amended, fiscal year 22 proposed budget. I've not received any written communication on that, so following your public hearing this evening, then the next step is to certify the budget to the county auditor, and then they submit it to the Department of Management at the state level. So, and we're done with the budget process for fiscal year 22. Any questions before the public hearing? All right, thanks.
Okay, no questions. So I don't need a motion to open the public hearing, just close it, right? Yeah, all right. So we have opened the public hearing, and all of those of you out there in citizen land that wish to speak to this, please come to the podium and we'll hear you. None appearing. Okay, I do need a motion to close the public hearing.
Moved.
Second.
Okay. Dana with the motion, Bennett with the second. Any discussion, council? Okay, once again, a voice vote. All in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? So, we have closed the public hearing. Now, excuse me, we need a motion to adopt a budget.
So moved.
We have a motion on the table. Any comment or discussion, council? Guess I'll make a couple of comments. You know, giving this some thought and having been through this process many times, and then observing some of the things that fiscally go on at the national level, I'm always kind of amazed at the stark contrast there. We are required by law to set a budget and live within that. And I think it's a wonderful situation and a wonderful process. At the national level, that doesn't seem to happen. And the numbers in my lifetime have become just astronomical. And it's I understand there are many circumstances that come along that cause that, or bring about the necessity, you know, unknown things like wars, pandemics, and such. But I do, from my own involvement here, applaud the process of municipal governments that set a budget and then work real hard to make that, well, they have to, I guess, but and it can be amended, but within reason. So I think that's a very good process, and I guess I'm proud of being part of that. So anyway, thank you to everyone in the room that takes part in that, and Mr. Flory and the rest of the office staff that put the darn thing together and work real hard to keep us in the right lane. So I'll shut up now, and we'll move on to the vote. I think with this one, just a voice vote will do? Okay. So once again, all in favor, say aye, please. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. The 2021 or 21-22 budget is duly adopted. On to B, Clear Lake Consolidated Urban Renewal Plan Amendment. Mr. Flory.
Thank you, Mr. Callahan. In your packet, we got a few items dealing with this, so just kind of run through those real quickly. The first item in the packet is the purple sheet. It's a notice of public hearing on the proposed 2021 amendment to the urban renewal plan for our Clear Lake Consolidated Urban Renewal area. The green sheets that follow that, if you remember from a couple of meetings, we've had this on the agenda. This is the letter that I sent to the other taxing entities of Saragordo County. It's the required consultation meeting that we have with them. Again, that's a requirement of the statute. So we held that consultation meeting February 26, 10 a.m. here at City Hall, and let them contribute anything they want in terms of comments to the plan, which there were none. So the orange sheets that follow that are the resolution that approves the 2021 Urban Renewal Plan amendment. That again is the actual resolution. And then just a little bit further, a couple more sheets, the 2021 amendment itself, as there on page 5, you'll see that, identifying the reasons for the amendment. And then the blue sheets are the letter of intent with Momberg Land LLC for a particular project that's identified in the plan amendment. So again, the council had previously set the date for the public hearing for this particular proposal. We had the notice published in the newspaper, so tonight is the opportunity for the public hearing on the proposal to amend the urban renewal plan to include 2 additional new commercial projects that are identified there in the packet. So first project is construction of approximately 47,000 square foot commercial retail space with related surface parking resulting from a development investment of at least $7.5 million real and personal property. City would offer the developer an incremental property tax rebate agreement for 10 years in an amount not to exceed $850,000. Payments would be subject to annual appropriation by the council. And additionally, we would utilize $350,000 in incremental property tax revenues to help finance municipal and water and sewer service mains and laterals needed for the project. Second project, and that's the one that's referenced in the letter of intent with Momberg Land LLC, is construction of a 6,000 square foot commercial space developer investment of at least $1 million. City will offer developer incremental property tax rebate for 7 years in an aggregate amount not to exceed $225,000 with payments subject to annual appropriation by the council. Additionally, $50,000 in incremental property tax revenues be used by the city to finance municipal water and sanitary sewer improvements and connections, and $15,000 for professional service fees to be reimbursed to the developer for things like engineering work and legal work incurred in the project. So did also include in the packet, the yellow sheets are an estimate. You can kind of see what the estimated cost of those water and sewer service improvements are. And then also the developers working with B&K. Project is called Starboard Square Retail Development, and you can kind of see there, again, this is the project that's, of course, south of the Marriott Lot 3 Courtway Park subdivision, so you can kind of see how that's laid out there on, it runs contiguous to Bayou Road there, so you can kind of see how that's all laid out with the parking and the proposed development itself. So I think they're tentatively planning on being on the agenda for site plan review later this month. So I don't have anything additional. Is there any questions prior to the public hearing?
Council, any questions for Mr. Flory?
Add anecdotally that talking to some of the local contractors, and I think I was telling Nelson this before he left, and it's amazing how so many of these things that we do filter their way down to provide opportunities for people here locally for employment, for example. So on this one, I was talking to one gentleman who's potentially going to be doing the flat work on the project, and mentioned to me that he's pretty optimistic about doing this work and also the ROCA project out along Highway 122. So it's just kind of interesting to see, again, just how these things kind of trickle down. It's always very nice to see that these projects use local people to help build them. So, all right.
Thank you. Excuse me, now is the time for the public hearing on the upcoming resolution, this urban renewal amendment. So anyone wishing to speak on this project, please find your way to the podium. Okay, none appearing. I'll ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, any discussion on the motion? Okay, so once again, we'll have a voice vote. All in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Okay, we will move on to a motion to approve resolution number 21-16. This resolution to approve a 2021-01 urban renewal plan amendment for the Clear Lake Consolidated Urban Renewal Area by the City Council. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, have a motion and a second. Any discussion, Council?
Yes, Your Honor, Mayor Pro Tem, I'd like to make a couple comments here if I could, just briefly. I think what's so exciting about these two is I go back to all the work we put in to land the Marriott Hotel project and Conference Center. Because the word that kind of stuck in my mind in my discussions with you, Scott, was catalytic. And I think it's so exciting to see that come to fruition in some of these other projects in Clear Lake, you know. And I think, you know, seeing that project go up, it's had a tremendous benefit. And again, very excited to see the catalytic impacts on further economic development here in Clear Lake. So just goes to show you, if you can land an anchor project like that, it's really a game changer for the community. So thank you for all the hard work you put in, Scott, and to the rest of the council.
Thank you. Guess I'd like to add a quick comment myself. Going back a little ahead of the catalyst there, I recall taking a leap of faith and putting pretty close to $2 million into a road out there to get things going. And you know, these type of things require a leap of faith. They require quite a bit of foresight, and it's really gratifying when you see them start to pay off. So, yeah. Okay, I guess we are ready for a vote. So this one is a roll call vote. We'll start with Bennett.
Yes.
Gary.
Yes.
Mark.
Yes.
Mike. Yes. Dana.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. Moving on to the North 9th Street West Storm Sewer Replacement Project. Introduction by Mr. Flory.
Excuse me, Mayor Pro Tem. Yeah, I think we got to do the letter of intent.
Thank you. I've got this all highlighted. And, anyway, trying to move it along here. Oh, that's right. There's no Monday night football, so we can take our time. That was a senior moment, and I should have a few because recently I hit another big number there. So, all right, now I'll ask for a motion to approve a letter of intent with Momberg Land LLC for Starboard Square Retail Development Project by City Council.
So moved.
Okay, Gary with the motion, Dana with the second. Any discussion, Council? Okay, we're back to a voice vote, so all in favor, say aye, please. Aye. Opposed, nay. That one passes 5-0 after we woke up the stand-in mayor here. All right, moving on to letter C. North 9th Street West Storm Sewer Replacement Project.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Council members, in your packet, you got a letter from Feedster and Kim, Jason Petersburg, the project designer for this particular public improvement project. You recall from our budget workshops and sessions that this is one of the capital projects that we put in for fiscal year 21 amended. And if just in the way of some background, this is something we talked about last fall. We discovered there were some private improvements underway and discovered in the course of those that our portion of our storm sewer that serves about this 7.5 or so acre drainage area had partially collapsed there. So it's kind of a unusual shaped storm sewer. So I think it's like 11 inches tall and 36 inches wide. So we were not able to get a replacement pipe for it. So we've got with Jason and Jeremy, and they kind of both worked on this over the course of the winter to kind of develop a plan for redoing that storm sewer, and researched several different alternatives. It turned out, I think the best alternative for us is just to do a simple RCP replacement project, pipe replacement project there. We had originally thought maybe this would be a candidate for a stormwater quality improvement project, and we had budgeted for making some stormwater quality improvements there, because obviously at North 9th Street West and North Shore, it's right there at the lake, but it was not, the drainage area sits so low there that we were just not going to be able to make any of those improvements. And Jason could talk a little bit more about this, but him and I had talked about maybe potentially a rain garden situation there, but that wasn't going to really work very well either. But just wasn't enough room for it, and the amount of runoff there probably was going to exceed the capacity for a rain garden to perform very well there anyway. But this kind of turned out to be a little bit more challenging than what we had originally hoped, because because he sits so low there. It's actually, the pipe itself is actually lower than the lake elevation. So I think Jason could talk about the specifications for the pipe, but probably one that we'll have to keep an eye on with the maintenance department to ensure that it's not silted in, because again, it sits so low and drainage will be a little bit of an issue there. So this is estimated cost $30,000, so considerably less than what we had budgeted for fiscal year 21 amended. But as I mentioned, this is something that we had originally thought we might be doing, like a grit collection chamber system in there and some other stormwater quality improvements. But we're not going to be able to do those again there because of the existing conditions there. So this is something that we can take competitive quotes on. So we've Jason's roughed out just kind of a tentative schedule here for our consideration. So if this goes forward this evening, we would start advertising for quotes tomorrow, receive quotes by the end of the month, and then have this as an item for your April 5th meeting to award the contract. And again, it's a pretty simple project, so pretty tight schedule for construction, although I think a month is plenty of time. So start construction April 12th and be done by May 14th. And got some pictures there that kind of show the existing conditions and what it looked like. And Gary did this work for a long time, but I probably had never seen a pipe quite shaped like that, I would imagine. So, and I know Jason said, he checked around a lot, but could not find anything that was comparable to that. So, like I say, he's got a little bit different design there, but I think it should all work out for us. You can see the drainage area that's mapped out there. It's, about 7.8 acre drainage area, so a pretty good sized little drainage area that this drains to. So I don't have anything further in terms of any introductory remarks. I'll let Jason just kind of review his findings and what him and Jeremy were working on for the specification for the project. So.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, Council. Scott gave a pretty good introduction on that there. So it was late last fall due to the driveway replacement that Jeremy was contacted to go down and look at this storm sewer line. After he investigated, he gave us a call and we looked at it as well. It is 11 inches tall, 36 inches wide. It's the first I've seen of storm sewer pipe that size. I'll just note, Jeremy did find there's one other location in town you have that, and we counted last week, and there's not enough pieces there to fit this back together. So, like Scott said, there isn't any equivalent in today's manufacturing that they fabricate that we could simply put back in the place of these damaged sections. So we did look at a few different options for correcting this. Option one being to put a 30-inch elliptical pipe in. It's oval shaped, so it's not as tall as a 30-inch line. Option 2 and 3 both involved removing the entire North 9th Street West from north shore of the lake, regrading it so it drained towards the lake, and then repaving either all or some of that. Scott also mentioned that we did also look at stormwater quality improvements. Our concern there for the grit chambers is there isn't enough elevation difference between the pavement elevation on North Shore Drive and the lake elevation. We'd be backing up water because they do require some elevation difference to function at their design capacity. We also looked at stormwater quality like rain gardens. There's just not simply enough surface area to install a large enough rain garden. And then like we've seen in other locations, the ongoing maintenance of those are always a concern as well. We put an estimate together for this. It's right at $30,000 for the new storm sewer. That does not include a new driveway to the home on the east side of the road there. They tore that out, planning on putting a new driveway in. City just put gravel in there to get them through the winter. So once this work is complete, the property owner there can complete their new driveway as they had originally planned. Schedule-wise, we'd like to begin advertising for competitive quotes tomorrow. Receive competitive quotes March 31st and get this work done in late April, early May, so they can get their driveway restored. Any questions on that project?
Thank you. So I guess now we're looking for a motion to approve setting the date to receive competitive quotes by the City Council. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Gary with the motion, Dana with the second. Any discussion, Council? Okay. Once again, a voice vote, so all in favor say aye, please. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. And we're on to Captain Colby's report this evening.
I believe you all have the stats in your packets from the last month. February, as usual for us, is kind of a slower month with the cooler temperatures and typically the weather reflects in the stats there. Coming up, like last time I was here, we talked about our hiring process. We're in the final stages of our current hiring process to backfill from Lieutenant Chizik retired in September, and then the additional promotions of Lieutenant Hines and Lieutenant Goody. So we're just in the final stages there. And then the last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is there's a nationwide effort going on this week for St. Patty's Day that Iowa Governor's Traffic Safety Bureau, NHTSA, the Iowa Department of Public Safety, and the Clear Lake Police Department will be participating as well in a saturation campaign for impaired and non-restrained drivers going on. So we'll have extra officers out on the 17th for St. Patty's Day. Last year, St. Patty's Day kind of just came without anybody knowing about with the pandemic just rising up. We're going to see what happens this week with, we may have some bad weather, but also with a lot of things opening back up, and we'll see what happens. So we will have some extra officers out this Wednesday night from by 3 o'clock in the afternoon to about 3 in the morning too. So we'll push out that on social media yet tonight, and then again on Wednesday as well. So we're hoping to stay safe, and maybe the weather will keep people in a little bit too. I know it's a chance of rain and maybe some snow Wednesday night. You have any questions about the stats or anything else I could answer for you guys?
Any questions, Council?
Thank you.
Thank you. An aside comment about St. Patrick's Day. At our house, we always celebrated St. Patrick's Day with the kids, who the youngest is now 40. But anyway, by watching Darby O'Gill and the Little People. So if you need an alternative to heading out to the bar, get yourself a copy of Darby O'Gill and the Little People. Quite the movie. That had nothing to do with anything else, but it popped into my mind and it had to come out. Public Works Director, Mr. Kornberg.
Council, really we just, prior to today, we had started our kind of our spring cleanup, had the sweepers out quite a bit last week, pretty much got through the entire town, looking pretty good until today. Hopefully, weather depending, over the next couple weeks, if things dry out, we plan on kind of getting through our alleys. This rain last week and weather today has really done a number on them. We kept our equipment out of them during this last snowstorm just because we tried and it was tearing them up. So as they dry up, we're going to try and get through them, grade them out, add gravel when we need to. We've had a few calls about that, so if you do get contacted, it is on our agenda to get that done. As well, this weather has created some frost boils and some pushing on some of our asphalt roads, so we've had some issues in the past. So again, if those pop up, let us know. We'll try and get some cones around them until it dries up a little and we can make them work. As far as the snow event today, pretty went without a hitch. Kind of got most of the stuff cleaned up. We have a few piles still out there that we'll finish up tomorrow, but other than that, just hoping for some dry weather so we can start making some improvements. Any questions?
Any questions, Council?
Just a comment, Mayor Pro Tem. I just wanted to thank Jeremy and his crew. I thought the roads got cleaned very well, pretty quick, and I didn't get all over town. I don't know if you guys noticed, but again, we got whacked pretty good, and the timing was not great. You know, it never is, but I wished I had bought that snow blower. I should have called Flory. I know he's got one. So anyway, thank you to you and your team and to the PD and everybody for, again, handling these events with a lot of work and a lot of smoothness. It really makes a difference for citizens here, so thank you.
Thank you. Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jennifer, we don't have anyone on the phone reporting in tonight. Okay. So we're on to our Chamber Director, Stacy Dawn. Welcome.
Everyone, nice to see everyone in person. All right, a few things in terms of updates. The last time we chatted, I shared with you that we are in process of hiring a new administrative assistant. So we've been without since last May, and I am happy to report that we have an accepted offer, and that is actually Miss Ashley Wise. So she is going to be joining our team. This will be her last night reporting as a Globe reporter, and she'll be joining the team as our administrative assistant starting next Monday. So we're very excited to have her and the talents that she can offer to our team. This Friday is our quarterly coffee, so that is at 7:30 at the Surf Ballroom. If you prefer to join virtually, let me know and I can send you a link to attend virtually. We also have our tourism launch party on Friday the 26th. So the following Friday we have our tourism launch party. We'll be revealing the Destination Clear Lake cover. We've got a new video that will be premiering that was produced by Kingland Productions crew, and some other fun things planned for the night, including dueling pianos. So that is next Friday night, or not, a week from Friday. And then as you guys approved on the agenda, we are moving forward with Earth Day activities. The race is on the 17th, and then we'll be opening up for Trash Bash that entire week. So if you've got an organization that would like to help get Clear Lake cleaned up, you can sign up for a spot on the Earth Day Clear Lake website. And then obviously moving forward with the Earth Day activities, we are cautiously moving forward with all of our other activities this summer and keeping an eye on the pandemic situation. But you know, as people are vaccinated, we're very optimistic and hopeful that we'll be able to move forward with events as planned. So any questions for me? All right, thank you.
Thank you. City Administrator's Report. Mr. Flory.
Well, congratulations to Ashley. I'm gonna miss her at the council meetings. Seen a number of reporters that have been here over the years, and she's hands down the best. And so gonna be missed, but glad to keep her in town. And she's gonna be working for a real taskmaster. But other than that, well, in terms of the report, just want to update you on a few things. The entryway welcome sign project, Jason, myself, a few other folks had met with the mayor, et cetera, had met with representative from the DOT regarding the entryway sign. So we're working our way through that process. If you may be aware that the entryway signs, one in particular at North 8th Street, is located currently in the railroad right-of-way. So we have 4 signs that are covered under the auspices of that project, essentially. So the one at 8th Street, the one that we want to put up, Buddy Holly, the one by 4th Avenue South and South 24th Street in the former Team Quest location there, as well as the one by McDonald's. So these were originally put in sometime in the mid-90s, maybe early 90s. And, you know, things were done maybe a little bit different in those days, a little less formal, probably a little more handshake kind of situation. So we've only been able to locate one actual permit or easement for those, the 3 signs that are currently up. So that's a little bit of a challenge for us. So we need to we've had some conversations with the railroad, the DOT. We want to make sure that we're good to go, permitted, all the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted before we start putting some signs down. So hopefully we'll be hearing back from the DOT regarding the 8th Street location here within the next week. You know, we'd like to get started on these obviously fairly soon, so, but we want to do it right as well. And so their DOT is pretty strict about signs within their right-of-way, so there's a number of criteria that we have to meet in terms of, you know, they have to give some blessing to the color and the language and these kinds of things. So want to make sure that that's okay with them before we start, and then that one will kind of drive the other locations as well. So essentially, they sort of regulate anything that's visible from the highway. You know, so we want to make sure that it's not in conflict or incompatible with the manual on uniform traffic control devices. So we have to look at that, as well as the Federal Highway Administration rules and regulations on signage along those kinds of roadways. So there's a number of things that we have to contend with there, but I think we're going to be able to keep moving that one forward. So just wanted to give you an update on that. So hopefully have more to report at the next meeting on that. The next item, the Wellness Center Board of Directors appointments. The Superintendent of Schools and I have been talking about this. You know, if you recall from the 2080 agreement that the city entered into with the school, there'll be a 5-member board of directors that's the governing body for the Wellness Center. So there'll be 2 members appointed by the school, 2 members appointed by the city, and then 1 member that's jointly decided upon by both the city and the school. So Doug and I met on this and had a good conversation. He's going to present to his board at their next meeting moving forward with a couple appointments. So, you know, him and I both came to pretty strong consensus on who we think should be the 5th member, who would sort of be the at-large person on the board. But what I invite for your perusal is what your thoughts are. You don't have to tell me tonight, but think about it for the 2 members. So elected officials, non-elected officials, both, etc. You know, 1 of each kind of thing. So. What he and I talked about is 4-year terms, making them staggered. So initially you would have 2 members from the school. 1 would serve a 4-year term, 1 would serve a 2-year term. And these would run on a calendar year basis. So, you know, so just again, just kind of give me your thoughts on that, and hopefully we can maybe come forward with couple names for appointments and get the board firmed up. We'd like to have that board in place probably by May 1st, for sure at the latest. You know, we're going to start the process, start looking at job descriptions, develop a job description for the position, start the position announcement here soon with the goal of having somebody on board by probably Memorial Day timeframe. So there's a number of things that's starting to kind of come forward now on it that we really are starting to need maybe somebody to to kind of quarterback these. So, you know, things like the playground equipment, the indoor playground equipment, the equipment that goes inside, the weights, the cardio equipment, and all these kinds of things. So then additionally talking about getting programming up and going for the facility. So there's a lot to go into it yet. So you know, we had in our budget we had anticipated someone starting I think July 1st, but so I think we'll be in totally good shape by having someone start probably Memorial Day weekend as well. But I think that's probably a good time to bring somebody in also. So again, just your thoughts on that as we move forward. You know, I'm not sure what Doug's thoughts are, if he wants to have 2 elected representatives for his 2 appointments for the school, or what yours are here. So you know, we'll probably have a number of liaison appointments, ex officio type. So I would probably see myself or Creighton as ex officio liaison members to the board and attending those meetings regularly. But likewise for the school, probably Doug would have himself and the athletic director probably pretty closely involved with that as well. So very exciting. If you've been by there lately and seen the progress that's going on, a lot of work's been done. You know, recently they had the 3 cranes on site out there, and that was really impressive. You know, those steel beams that went across there. One of the people told me they weighed 24,000 pounds. So yeah, that's a pretty heavy duty beam. So. That's about all I've got, unless anybody has any questions or any thoughts you want to share on the Wellness Center board.
Scott, I got a quick question on the entryway signs. There
Yeah.
was some talk of maybe doing a double-sided sign.
Mm-hmm.
Any more thoughts on that?
Just cost prohibitive.
Okay,
Yeah.
too much.
It got literally double the cost. Yeah. Yeah, but like that, yeah, there weren't any economies of scale there. It was going to be literally double the cost.
And is it fair to say we might have to be creative as well in terms of that sign issue, depending on various factors that
Possibly.
you described? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, very
So-
possible. Yeah. You know, we had a real good meeting with the DOT representative, so I'm positive you know,
Yeah.
we'll be able to move forward. But there are a number of things that I think you take for granted when you're dealing with some of these agencies. But any signs that are visible from the highway, they're pretty careful about what they allow to go in those areas. So.
Thank you.
Yep, you bet.
A little historical note on highway beautification. Lest we forget Lady Bird Johnson, who had a lot to do with the Highway Beautification Act. Got rid of a lot of junkyards along highways and various other unsightly things, but I digress as usual.
What was the name of that movie you said? I gotta go get that. I'm gonna get that on Netflix hopefully
Yeah.
tonight. Start watching that later tonight. I thought you were gonna talk something of a higher level, like the patron saint of Ireland, St. Patrick's Day. And yet, what was it, Darby Gillis?
Darby
Darby.
O'Gill
Okay.
and the leprechauns. Yeah, and the death carriage. My kids were terrified. Anyway, you got to get a little enjoyment here, don't you? It can't be all mundane. Okay, anything else for the good of the order?
Yeah, Mayor Pro Tem, real quick, I just wanted to congratulate the Chamber on their recent hire. Again, I agree with Scott. I think, Ashley, we've enjoyed having you here as a reporter, but I think it's a great addition to our team here in Clear Lake. So thank you, and my congratulations to the Chamber.